"He's just a pushover," my wife told her family while dipping into my savings. "He won't do anything." They all agreed. I stayed silent. I just smiled and left the room. 5 days later, she regretted it. I never thought I'd be writing something like this. But life has a strange way of catching you off guard. It all started last Tuesday. My daughter Belle asked me to help her with some iPad games. Her iPad was linked to my wife Willow's through parental controls, so I used Willow's account to download a few educational apps. That's when the messages started popping up. At first, I ignored them. I'm not the snooping type. But then I saw my name. A knot formed in my gut. The group chat was titled Family Only. Just Willow, her sister Lucy, and their mom, Aurora. I scrolled up. What I read made my stomach turn. "Colton is such a pushover," Willow had written. "He didn't even question it when I said I needed $5,000 for the house renovation plans." Laughing emojis followed, from Lucy and Aurora. "You should take more while you can," Lucy wrote. "He's too nice for his own good." Aurora chimed in. "Remember when he gave up that promotion just to spend more time with you guys? What an idiot." I sat there frozen, Belle's game forgotten, scrolling through months of similar conversations. They had been mocking me, plotting, laughing about how they were slowly draining our savings, knowing I'd never catch on. They even had a running joke about my puppy dog eyes every time Willow asked me for money. And it wasn't just talk. I opened our banking app. The puzzle pieces fell into place. Those renovation plans, never real. The emergency loans to Lucy, just more of my money funneled away. The work conferences that kept getting more expensive. I found receipts for shopping sprees and spa weekends. "Daddy, is something wrong?" Belle's voice snapped me back. I forced a smile and helped her with her game, but my mind was already spinning. 8 years of marriage, and I never saw this side of Willow. Or maybe I did, and I just didn't want to believe it. That evening, I met my best friend Skylar at a quiet bar. I showed him the screenshots. His face darkened as he read them. "Man, this is messed up," he said, sliding my phone back. "What are you gonna do?" I took a long sip of my drink. "Nothing, yet." Skylar raised an eyebrow. "Nothing?" "They think I'm a pushover," I said. "Let them keep thinking that, while I figure out just how deep this goes." The next few days were surreal. I went to work, came home, kissed Willow hello, all while watching her tap away at her phone, probably laughing about me with her family. I started seeing the signs I'd always missed. How she tensed up when I walked by her phone. How she made calls from the backyard. Her sudden obsession with handling all our paperwork. Yesterday, it got worse. I overheard her on the phone with Aurora. "He's been working so much lately, he probably won't even notice if I move a little more money. His bonus should be coming. And soon, we could use that for my business venture." She laughed. "What's he going to do, stand up for himself?" I wanted to storm in and confront her, but I remembered what Skylar said. "Document everything. Don't tip them off. Not until you have everything." So when she walked back in, I smiled. When she mentioned some investment ideas, I nodded. The pushover routine? I played it perfectly. But I also made an appointment with a lawyer for the next morning. Last night I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, listening to Willow breathe steadily beside me. How many nights had she fallen asleep planning her next scheme? Beside our bed was a photo from our wedding day, both of us beaming, full of hope. Now I wonder, was she calculating even then? This morning she kissed me goodbye, told me she loved me. Then she texted Lucy. "It's almost too easy. Sometimes I feel bad, but then I remember he'll never stand up for himself." It's kind of his own fault, right? Wrong. They say a fox is most dangerous when cornered, but they never mention the dog who watches quietly until the moment he shows his teeth. Yes, I've been a pushover, but even a pushover has his limits. Willow's about to find that out the hard way. I'm meeting the lawyer in an hour. I've got copies of everything, The messages, the bank statements, the credit card bills she thought I'd never see. They think I'm weak because I choose kindness. They mistake my patience for cowardice. That's fine. Let them laugh. Let them plot. Let them think they've got me figured out. Because in 5 days, when every document is filed, every account traced, and every piece of evidence handed over, they'll realize the biggest mistake you can make is underestimating the quiet ones. This isn't just about the money, my lawyer said, spreading out the screenshots I'd brought. This is systematic financial abuse. That word, abuse, hit hard. I always thought of betrayal as emotional, maybe even physical. But this was planned, calculated, strategic. Willow hadn't just lied. She had manipulated me down to the smallest detail. The last 5 days have been educational. You think you know someone after 8 years of marriage. But watching Willow through a different lens has felt like discovering I was living with a stranger. The little gestures I used to find endearing now seem rehearsed. The way she touches my arm when asking for something. How she always brings up money matters when I'm distracted with Brielle. Speaking of Brielle, she said something yesterday that made my blood run cold. We were playing in the backyard when she asked, "Daddy, why does Mommy's friend from work come to see her when you're not home?" I kept my voice casual. "What friend is that, sweetie?" "The tall man who brings her coffee. He has a ring like yours and Mommy's." That afternoon, I bought a small security camera. Nothing fancy, just a discreet doorbell camera people use for packages. Willow didn't even notice when I installed it. She was too busy texting Lucy about how she'd pulled another $3,000 from our savings for her emergency fund. The camera paid off quicker than I expected. Today, while I was at work, I took a personal day. I watched through the app as a silver BMW pulled into our driveway. A tall man got out, wedding ring clearly visible, and stayed for 2 hours. Every entrance, every exit, all recorded. But that wasn't the worst part. Last night, Aurora and Lucy came over for dinner. I played my part. The oblivious husband, smiled, made small talk. They exchanged knowing looks over meatloaf. Then, as expected, the conversation shifted to money. "Colton," Aurora said, spooning more potatoes onto her plate. "Willow tells me you're thinking about investing in her new business venture." I watched Willow's face carefully. "Oh?" "She hasn't mentioned any specifics yet." Lucy jumped in. "You should see the plans. It's going to be amazing. The initial investment is steep, but—" She hesitated, glancing at Willow. "We can discuss it later, honey," Willow said sweetly, patting my hand. "You know I always have our best interests at heart." They thought they were clever, but I'd already seen the business plans on Willow's laptop. There was no business, just a scheme to move our savings into an account I couldn't access. After dinner, they gathered in the kitchen, thinking I was watching cartoons with Brielle. Their voices carried through the hallway vent. "He's still clueless," Willow laughed. "Did you see his face when Mom mentioned the business?" "You've got him trained so well," Lucy snickered, "like a puppy." "Just make sure everything's moved before you tell him about the divorce," Aurora advised. "Your sister and I didn't raise you to settle for a pushover." I held Belle tighter, my mind racing. So that was their plan. Wait until my annual bonus hit next month. Drain everything. Then blindside me with divorce papers. But I wasn't clueless anymore. Today, while Willow was working late with her BMW friend, I met with a forensic accountant. The numbers told a damning story. Missing money, hidden accounts, credit cards I never knew existed. All documented. I also hired a private investigator. Expensive? Yes. Worth it? Absolutely. In 2 days, he had photos of Willow and her friend at multiple hotels. But here's the twist. Her friend isn't just married, he's married to one of Willow's biggest clients. Skylar thinks I should confront her now. "You've got enough," he said over drinks. "Why wait?" "Because Tomorrow is Aurora's annual family dinner. Everyone will be there. Lucy's husband. Aurora's boyfriend. Willow. The whole cast of characters who've laughed behind my back. And I've arranged for something special. Nothing dramatic. Just manila envelopes. Each one will contain bank statements, hotel receipts, screenshots. From their family-only group, chat one envelope per person at the dinner table. They think I'm weak because I'm quiet. They mistake kindness for cowardice. Tomorrow, they'll learn the truth. Sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one you should fear the most. The best part? While Willow's been playing her game, I've already won. Every document filed, every account traced, every piece of evidence legally verified. All that's left is to play one final role, the oblivious husband at family dinner. Then, we'll see who's really been the pushover all along. Knowing how the night might go, I played my part perfectly. Quiet, agreeable, unthreatening Colton. I complimented Aurora's new curtains, laughed at Lucy's husband's bad jokes, pretended not to notice the smirks, the looks, the smug sense of control radiating from across the room. Willow was especially affectionate, probably thinking she was about to pull off the final act of her masterpiece. "Honey," she said sweetly during appetizers, "I was thinking we should tell everyone about the business venture now." Right on cue, Aurora perked up. "Oh yes, Colton, you're going to be so excited about this opportunity." That's when the doorbell rang. "I'll get it," Lucy offered quickly. But I was already standing. "No, please, let me. It's probably the surprise I arranged." Their confusion was priceless. This wasn't in their script. I returned to the dining room with 6 manila envelopes, each one neatly labeled with a name. "Before we discuss any business ventures," I said, voice calm, "I thought everyone might want to review these documents." Silence. They opened them. One by one, I watched their faces shift, from curious to confused, then to pale horror. Bank statements, hotel receipts, screenshots of their group chat, pictures of Willow with her friend, all time-stamped, all documented. Willow's face went white. "Colton, I can explain." "Can you explain the $47,000 you diverted?" "From our savings?" I asked quietly. "Or maybe the credit cards I never knew about?" I tilted my head. "Or would you prefer to explain the hotel visits to your client's wife?" Lucy jumped in, panicked. "This is obviously a misunderstanding." "Like the misunderstanding where you helped Willow set up secret accounts?" I turned to Lucy's husband. "Did you know your wife helped hide stolen money?" The room exploded. Lucy's husband was shouting. Aurora was scrambling for control. Willow was crying, not from guilt, but from panic. "You had no right to spy on me," Willow screamed. "Like you had no right to steal from me?" I replied, steady. "To mock me to your family? To cheat, not just on me, but with a married man?" Aurora's voice shook. "You're just trying to intimidate us." I pulled out my phone, pressed play. Her voice, clear as day, discussing how to hide assets before serving divorce papers. Lucy's husband walked out. Aurora's boyfriend awkwardly excused himself. "I've already spoken to his wife," I told Willow. "She's very interested in the evidence I've gathered. Her lawyer will be in touch." "You've ruined everything," Lucy spat. "No," I said. "You did that. I just documented it." I stood, straightened my jacket. "The divorce papers are already filed. Don't worry about responding right away. Your lawyers will have plenty to go through." I paused. The forensic accountant's report is particularly enlightening. Willow finally found her voice. "What about Brielle?" "You mean the daughter you were planning to use as leverage? The one you discussed taking full custody of? Like some bargaining chip?" I shook my head. "The custody evaluator will be very interested in those messages." I turned to leave, then looked back one final time. "Oh, and Willow? That business venture you were going to pitch tonight? The one needing a $50,000 investment? I've already submitted the fraudulent documents to the authorities. Fraud is a serious offense. You can't prove anything, Aurora yelled. I smiled. I can prove everything, every message, every transaction, every meeting. While they laughed at the pushover, I was building an airtight case. The last thing I saw before walking out? Lucy, frantically texting, probably warning her husband about the financial fallout. Aurora, berating Willow for letting it all unravel. And Willow? She just sat there, finally realizing her perfect plan was ashes. Final update, 6 months later. A lot of you have asked how everything turned out. Now that the dust has settled, here it is. Let's start with Willow's friend. His wife didn't just divorce him, she owned half his business, and she didn't get mad. She got even. She contacted every major client they had, many of whom were personal friends. By the time she was done, his reputation was in shreds. Last I heard, he's living in a studio apartment and driving for a rideshare company. Willow didn't fare much better. Remember those fake business documents she and Lucy planned to use to scam me? Turns out, they'd done it before. 3 other men came forward with similar stories. Now Willow's facing criminal charges. And Lucy? She turned on her best friend almost immediately, offering to testify in exchange for leniency. Aurora's family reputation took a massive hit. Her boyfriend left her. Lucy's husband filed for separation. And Aurora? She's learning, slowly, that actions have consequences. As for me, I've been focusing on Brielle. She asked me the other day why Mommy hasn't come home. I told her, sometimes grown-ups need time to think about their mistakes. She nodded, thoughtful, then asked if we could go get ice cream. We did. The next few months won't be easy. There's still court, custody, and cleanup. But I'm not afraid. They mistook kindness for weakness. But kindness is a choice. Patience is power. And the quiet ones, we don't break. We build. This pushover had teeth all along. The authorities were very interested in the pattern I uncovered. Willow is now facing charges for fraud and grand theft. Her professional license? Suspended pending investigation. Turns out no one wants to work with someone who scammed her own husband. Lucy's downfall was spectacular. Her husband didn't just leave. He went nuclear when he found out she'd been helping Willow hide money for years. He hired his own forensic accountant. What they uncovered? Lucy had been embezzling from his company too. She's now facing criminal charges, and her husband made sure everyone in their social circle knew exactly why. Aurora, meanwhile, tried to play the victim, claimed she was just supporting her daughters. That story fell apart fast when investigators found emails proving she was the mastermind behind several of their schemes. She'd done it before, targeting men she thought were weak, and encouraging her daughters to exploit them. Her boyfriend bolted as soon as he realized he might have been next. The divorce proceedings were surprisingly quick. My documentation was airtight. Willow tried to paint me as controlling, but the judge wasn't buying it, especially after reading group chat messages where they mocked me while conspiring to steal my money. Nothing like a written conspiracy to speed up a legal process. But here's the part that still makes me smile. They always called me a pushover. Turns out, the same patience and attention to detail they laughed at helped me build an ironclad case. The forensic accountant traced financial manipulation going back years. Every shady transaction, every hidden account, every forged signature. All documented, all traceable, all damning. Custody wasn't even a fight. Those messages, where Willow talked about using Brielle as leverage, where she planned to disrupt my relationship with my daughter, didn't play well in family court. I got primary custody. Willow gets supervised visitation when she's not in court handling her own legal issues. Their entire social circle collapsed. Turns out people don't like realizing they've been hanging out with criminals. Willow's high society friends ghosted her the minute they saw the charges. Lucy's country club revoked her membership. Apparently, fraud violates their code of conduct. Aurora's church asked her to step down from all leadership roles. The financial aftermath? Brutal. The court ordered full restitution, every stolen cent plus penalties. Willow's secret accounts? Frozen. Lucy's assets? Seized. Aurora? Her retirement fund took a massive hit to cover her daughter's legal defense. Last week, I ran into Willow at the grocery store. She was using a prepaid card to buy generic brands. She tried to avoid me, but Brielle spotted her. "Hi, Mommy," she said, then turned to me. "Daddy, can we get ice cream?" I pulled out my wallet, the same one Willow used to mock me for being cheap. The look on her face? Priceless, especially when Brielle started chatting about our recent vacation and her new private school. Yesterday, Lucy's husband called. He found evidence of other schemes, going back to their college days. More men, more victims, more lives they tried to destroy. He's turning everything over to the authorities. The investigation is expanding. Aurora even had the audacity to send me a letter begging me to drop the charges. Said I was destroying her family. I sent back copies of her own messages, encouraging her daughters to steal from me. Attached was a single note. Actions have consequences. Skylar asked me recently if I feel bad about how things turned out. I don't. They made their choices. I just made sure they couldn't escape the consequences. They thought being quiet meant being weak. They never realized the quiet ones watch, the quiet ones remember, and the quiet ones know exactly when to strike. Brielle and I moved to a new home in a better school district. She's thriving, making new friends, getting support, healing. Last night, she asked me why some people do bad things. I told her, it's not about what others do to us. It's about how we choose to respond. The ultimate irony? If they'd just been honest, I would have helped them. If Willow needed money, I would have supported her real business. If Lucy was struggling, I would have stepped in. But they chose greed over gratitude, mockery over respect, and they lost everything. Sometimes karma needs a little help. They played their game thinking I was too weak to fight back. But I wasn't playing their game. I was playing the long game, where patience and documentation beat fast lies and quick scams. So here we are, them, facing criminal charges, financial ruin, and social exile. Me, having dinner with my daughter in our new home. Turns out, the pushover they mocked wasn't so weak after all. Remember, not all strength roars. Sometimes it just takes notes, builds a case, and waits for the perfect moment to show its teeth. This will be my final update. Brielle and I have a new life to live, and dwelling on the past isn't part of it. Thanks for the support, Reddit. Sometimes knowing people have your back makes all the difference.